Athletic associations across the country have complained of a shortage of sports officials for years, including in Indiana. And it's particularly drastic among women. Many point to fan behavior as a key issue, but Indiana Public Broadcasting's Jeannie Lindsay reports some of the challenges they face to get the job done can't be solved with better sportsmanship alone.
You won't see many women working games on the high school football fields in Indiana, but if you do, it's probably Holly McCamick.
So I've done football for 3 years, 5 years for volleyball and track.
McCamick is one of about a dozen licensed female high school football referees in the entire state. She started doing this job after her kids graduated to stay connected to schools, kids, and sports. But it can be tough. She says she's still getting used to how angry people from the crowd can get about her calls.
It's one of the things that's been most shocking to me, actually. You know, people who officiate are doing it because they want to give back to the game.
And that's not all she has to worry about. Right now, she's working with a broken leg after a run-in with a football player during a game she reffed last month. McCamick's concern about fan behavior is the most common complaint among referees, according to Sandra Walter. She's the assistant commissioner of the Indiana High School Athletic Association, or IHSAA.
Our fan ejections are up 25%. That means we are dismissing, when I say we, the officials, are finding it necessary to remove fans at a rate that is 25% higher this year than last year. And I will tell you, last year, that removal was 43% higher than 17-18.
Angry fans have followed officials to their cars or made verbal threats. Other things stack up too, though, like travel, buying uniforms and training, and often a select handful of people decide who gets assigned to the high-stakes games. When the economy is good, Walter says, it's tougher to convince people to deal with all of that for a paycheck that might not even break even with the costs. And many officials are walking off the field for good. The IHSAA has just over 5,000 officials this year compared to nearly 7,000 3 years ago. So why does this matter? Walter says lessons kids learn in sports stay with them for life.
We're talking about how to create and reach goals. We're talking about how to get along with others. Teamwork, cooperation. You tell me one area in your adult life where that's not necessary.
None of that can happen without referees. And remember that roster of more than 5,000 officials in the state? Fewer than 600 of them are women. Walter says working moms worry about missing out on family time. McCamick was a stay-at-home mom and didn't start officiating until her kids moved out. But even when women do take the job, finding gear made for them can be impossible.
There's no place that will sell a woman's football uniform to officiate.
And McCamick says getting more women on the field can show kids what equality looks like.
Not having women in these roles sends a message that women are not strong enough to hold a role of that prestige or of that importance.
The complexities behind the shortage has more people taking a closer look at the problem to find solutions. A class of sports management students at IUPUI has been researching different challenges officials say contribute to the shortage. Chris Seymour's group is looking at the role of the assigner, the ones hand-picking officials for high-stakes games and tournaments. He says a lack of transparency can result in bias or favoritism for who gets to move up in the industry, and that can be really frustrating.
We actually had an NBA official come to our class and speak to us, and he said that it was easier for him to become an NBA official than it was to officiate a state finals.
Eventually, the group will share solutions with IHSAA, the NCAA, and people in various sports organizations. And while they focus on some of the bigger, more technical answers, Ref McCamick says a fairly simple but essential place to start is just empathy.
Without officials on the field, we're not going to have education-based athletics anymore.
Because even in uniform, she says, she's human too. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Jeannie Lindsay.